Yo, what is up guys? Zoran here with another video. This one's gonna be a little different. Instead of some VGC battles, what I wanted to do for a while now was make guides for those of you that are trying to get into VGC competitive. Now, guides aren't something that I usually do. I am not very confident in myself usually in making guides, but I figured since we're getting into a regulation with the restricteds and there's not that many restricteds right now, I thought it would be a good idea to kind of just give people who are trying to get into VGC an idea on how to use these restricteds. Maybe like just give them some sort of like base for them to start out with. Now, in no way is this something that is set in stone. You guys can build your restricteds or any Pokemon the way you want. But this is just to help you understand how to use them on, how they work, their best Terras, their best movesets maybe. And then maybe with that, you guys can figure out your own spreads and your own moves. Because there's many ways to build Amon. It doesn't it's not usually set in stone, but these are usually the ones that people go to and the most comfortable the ones that you are most comfortable with when making a decision on what Pokemon to use and how to build them. So this is going to be a guide to Kyogre, and I just wanted to, help people out and make a guide for it. So with that said, what we're going to be doing in this guide is I'm going to just show you how to build some spreads for Kyogre, some movesets, why you should use it, and some pros and cons, and also some teammates that go along well with Kyogre. So hopefully this helps some of you kind of learn how to use Kyogre or any other restricteds, because I'll be making other guides for the other restricteds, and hopefully you guys enjoy this type of content as well. So this is gonna be like my first video for it, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. I'll try to get better as I make these. So with that said, let's get straight into it. Let's just get right into why you should be using Kyogre, or why Kyogre is something you guys could potentially want to use. So Kyogre's has some really good high power damage coming out of it. It's one of those mons that have a lot of damage that you can just front load into your enemy without really much thought. So what I mean is, it has two moves. It has two really strong moves in Water Spout and Origin Pulse. And if you don't know what Water Spout does, has a maximum damage of 150, and it goes down as your HP goes down. So if you get hit, obviously if you're playing Kyogre, your goal is trying not to get hit, so you can hit these big massive Water Spouts, because 150 power, especially because it gets rain. If you guys don't know, it has Drizzle, which summons the rain. And under rain, water moves have a 50% damage boost. So that's why Water Spout is really strong with Kyogre, because if you can manage not to get hit and land a Water Spout, this thing is gonna hit. Now, even if it gets hit, if it's at low HP, it can still do some decent damage, but after like, I think it's like 50%, you won't be doing that much damage with Kyogre. So you gotta try and keep up at least 50%, because then you'll at least do some damage. But obviously, if you want max damage, you need to stay fully healthy, right, with Kyogre. Now, once Water Spell, loses its touch because you got hit, you always have Origin Pulse. Kyogre is Kyogre's signature move, and it's the only mon with this move, obviously, because it's a signature. It's basically Water Spout, but without the condition of your HP being high. So this one's at 110, but the catch is that you will have a worse accuracy, so you're at 85% accuracy with this move. So the catch is that you will miss, because 85% is kind of iffy, but it's 110 accuracy under rain. 110 base power under rain, and it's gonna hit like a truck as well. So if Water Spout ends up not working out for you, Origin Pulse is right there for you to use once Water Spout isn't being able to use. So obviously, if you're playing Kyogre, you kind of don't want to get hit because of Water Spout being your strongest option for damage. Now, with that out of the way, we're just gonna talk about now like some EV spreads, some Terras to go along with it, some items, because that is very important when you're building your team and your Kyogre. So we're gonna be talking about it, and these are just movesets and spreads and all that I thought were probably the most common, and not only the most common, but probably the most well-rounded to use. So the first one's going to be this Water Terra one with this set that you already see right here with Mystic Water. Mystic Water, what it does is it just boosts water moves by 20%. Very straightforward. And you have the Terra Water, and your whole idea is you just want to hit them really, really hard with Water Spout and Origin Pulse. Because you are boosting the water damage by a ton. It's going to be under rain, going to be doing damage with Terra Water, and Mystic Water is going to be boosting it. So you're just going to be trying to do as much damage as you can with Water Spout and Origin Pulse. Ice Beam is there just for coverage. You can also replace it with Thunder if you really want to. Thunder is also a great option on Kyogre, because if you don't know, Thunder gets a 100% accuracy check under rain. This accuracy check means that it will always hit under rain. Doesn't matter if they drop your evasion, doesn't matter what they do to your evasion, Thunder will always hit under rain. Okay? Well, keep that in mind when using Thunder. As long as rain is up, Thunder will never miss. They can't drop your evasion, they can't do anything to your evasion. I keep saying evasion, your accuracy. They can't drop your accuracy. Your accuracy, they can drop it to 0% and Thunder will still hit. Because it's not even 100% accuracy anymore. It's just its text is literally it cannot miss. So if it cannot miss, then its accuracy is just, it doesn't exist. It's just there. It's just going to hit. So keep that in mind when using Thunder under rain. That's why Thunder is a really good move for Kyogre. Because usually if you're not using Thunder, if you're using Thunder out of rain, you do have a chance to miss. So just keeping that in mind. Now for spread, it's really simple with Kyogre. It's just, you know, 252, 252. You can do modest or timid depending on what you want. Timid wouldn't be bad here because with 156 you do outspeed base 100 Pokemon that are running modest. So even if they're running 252, 252, if they're running modest or adamant, if they're not running a speed boosting nature, then they will get outsped by Kyogre as long as they're not jolly or timid themselves. So if they're not jolly or timid themselves, you can outspeed because it would be around, I think it's like 153. Well, you can't do 153 here, but it's basically 153 that they reach with 252 without timid. So keep that in mind if you decide what are you deciding to do. Modest is just obviously just so you can hit as hard as you can. Timid if you just want to outspeed certain stuff, because remember, Kyogre is a little slow, so that could help you out. Alright, so let's get straight into the second build here. So the second one here is a Calm Mindset. Now, this one runs the Terra Grass with leftovers because you're trying to, you know, heal yourself a little bit. And now you're kind of opting out from Water Spout and just keeping Origin Pulse instead because you're running Calm Mind. You don't really have the room because you do need Protect. Bold is the nature of choice here. You could run Modest if you want, if you just want more damage. Modest is completely fine, but I would assume Bold is the better one here because you want to be a little bit more defensive because you want to stay on the field longer and take more hits. Since Calm Mind will be boosting your damage with your special attack and your special defense, so I feel like Bold would be the better option here. Now in this one you go max HP and max special attack. You can do more with special attack. You can like be more flexible with the special attack EVs if you want. You can put it maybe more into defense, maybe a little bit more into speed to speed creep certain mons. That's also an option. But for the sake of the video, I'm just doing a 252 just to kind of give you a base idea of how to run it. You want to be more bulkier, so instead of the speed, you're opting for the HP. And your whole idea here is that you kind of want to play a more protect the king kind of team with Kyogre because you're trying to get Calm Minds up and then just trying to throw out those Water Spouts, right? I mean those Origin Pulses. So the Terra Grass here is obviously defensive Terra because, like I said, you're being more defensive. And it's good to have a way to stop not only Ogre Pawns from hitting you, because this will stop most Ogre Pawns. Even the Fire one shouldn't give you too much trouble as long as you're under the rain. But this one completely walls the Water one. Remember, you don't really have a way to hit it back if it Terras. So I could recommend going for Thunder instead of Ice Beam if that becomes an issue. and that way you can hit even the water ogre pawns under your rain, right? Ice beam hits the grass one though, like the pure grass one. So keep that in mind when which coverage move you want to keep. You could always opt in for water spell, but I wouldn't. I don't think that's a good idea. Origin Pulse should be enough, especially since you're using a Combine to boost yourself. It's pretty much like hitting a water spot at that point. Here's a third set with the Choice Scarf. Same build as the first one with the Mystic Water, except now you are running Timid because you're trying to be the fastest that you can. You could run Modest, but Timid is usually what you want to run. It's the same thing, Terra Water with Water Spout, Origin Pulse, Thunder, and Ice Beam. You don't have Protect because you are Choice Scarf, so you're just trying to just put in the other coverage moves. So now you have Thunder and Ice Beam, and the whole point is that you just want to be really fast and hit water spouts as fast as possible. This is a very aggressive Kyogre. You just want to be fast, hit hard, especially under Tailwind. Now nothing's going to outspeed you unless they Tailwind as well and they're Scarfed or something. But usually they shouldn't outspeed you with this one. So this one's pretty straightforward. Just Choice Scarf, go fast, hit water spouts, Origin Pulses, Thunders, Ice Beams. Hit that Terra Water button and just go ham on them, right? That's the whole point of this Kyogre. Now this one here is kind of more of my own take on something because with how VGC has been going, especially we're gonna be talking about the pros and cons later, so you'll see this later in the pros and cons section. But the whole reason I'm doing wide lens on this one with Modest and everything is it's exactly the same as the other one, as the Mystic Water one, but it's instead I'm opting to use wide lens and Hydro Pump instead of Water Spout. Now the reason for this is because one, I hate missing, so Origin Pulse should now land a little bit more reliably. Same thing with Hydro Pump, it should land a little bit more reliably. And because one of its major weaknesses is that Wide Guard is a thing now, thanks to all the other restrictors on in the format. A lot of them have spread moves, especially the Horse Riders. So Wide Guard is pretty much everywhere now, meaning Kyogre has a much tougher issue to it's in a tougher spot because Wide Guard being everywhere. Kyogre has being someone that relies a lot on its spread moves, Water Spout and Origin Pulse, and that being its only really big damage. I opted for Hydro Pump just to give it a way to actually hit single target, and it still will hit really hard because it's base 120, and it's a good option if you feel like Wide Guard is a problem. So if you feel Wide Guard is way too of a problem, they see the Kyogre and they're gonna bring Wide Guard, you could always just switch Water Spout to Hydro Pump and see how that feels. Origin Pulse obviously still stays because if they don't have Wide Guard, then Origin Pulse is still gonna hit. It's like hitting 2 Hydro Pumps on one enemy. I mean on 2 enemies. So it's definitely worth considering Hydro Pump. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the Kyogre spreads. It's 252 with Modest. But that's pretty much it for the spreads and movesets. Hopefully this gives you guys an idea on how to use Kyogre. But we're not done. This is just what you can use for Kyogre. Now we're just gonna go and kind of talk about what teammates work with Kyogre. I'm not gonna go too in depth into the teammates. I'm just gonna give you guys a general idea of what Pokemon are really good with Kyogre and like give you an idea on how to team build with these Pokemon. So this should give you an idea who you could pair Kyogre with, and you could always mix and match these Mons with other Mons. It's not set in stone, as I say. You can always bring like a Pikachu if you really want to. It doesn't really matter, but these Mons will help Kyogre thrive in the metagame. So let's get into that. Let's go right into that. So here we are. These Mons, there's more. There's gonna be more. But these Mons usually are the best Pokemon to kind of pair up with Kyogre. And one of the best ones, in my opinion, is Tornadus. Tornadus is pretty much the perfect partner for Kyogre. If you don't know what it does, it's got Prankster, which gives non-attacking moves priority by 1. So what this means is that things like Tailwind and Rain Dance, even Protect, but Protect doesn't matter. Tailwind and Rain Dance will basically go first as long as you're faster. So if they're faster and they use a priority move, obviously they're gonna go first. But if you're faster than them, Tailwind and Rain Dance will go first. So that's what Prankster does. It makes you have priority on your moves for your status moves. So that's why Tornadus is really good with Kyogre because it gets Tailwind, meaning Kyogre will go faster. Rain Dance in case you need to put up the rain again, like because Weather Wars is a thing you will be having to face off against Sun or Snow or Sand, mainly Sun being the other because of Koraidon and Groudon. But having some manual rain in your team is always nice to have because then you can bring out Kyogre Tornadus and just put up the rain again if you really need to, and not have to worry about switching in and out. So that's always nice. Tailwind obviously because Kyogre is slow, gives you that speed control that you need. And then there's Bleak Wind Storm. This is the main reason why Tornadus is the perfect partner for Kyogre is because Bleak Wind Storm, if you don't know, Bleak Wind Storm can miss outside of rain. So if it's in rain, just like thunder, it can't miss. Doesn't matter if they lower your accuracy, it won't miss. That is the important thing about Bleak Wind, and it has a very, very good base power. So this is why Tornadus is by far one of the best Pokemon to pair Kyogre with. Which is funny because I don't think I've seen a Tornadus in tournament teams, but I'm not sure. I think I did. I'll be posting some teams for you guys to check out in the description. I'll be posting some Pokepaste and some rentals if possible, if I can find them. So don't worry about that. If you guys are still kind of on the fence of how to build your team, I will be posting some Pokepaste in the description for you guys to just try out. Hopefully they still work. If not, then at least the Pokepaste will be there for you guys to at least get a general idea of not only how to build the team, but also you can build the teams yourselves in game because you have the Pokebase, you have the spreads, the moves, everything. So that at least allows you to build the team in game yourselves in case the rentals don't work anymore. So if in case the rentals don't work anymore, at least you can still make the teams yourself. But I will be leaving you guys some teams so you guys can try out Kyogre yourself, right? And see how it feels for you. But yeah, that's basically the thing about Tornadus is it's just perfect for Kyogre. I would definitely be running it with Kyogre. The only issue with this as well is, like I said, Guard is an issue. So Bleak Wind Storm might have an issue as well because it's a spread move, and Guard stops spread moves. So now both Kyogre and Tornadus are being Guarded to death. So be careful with that when running both of them, and that's probably why some people have opted away from Tornadus. But I will give you some ideas on the items. I'm not, like I said, I'm not gonna go fully depth with spreads and everything for each one of these. I just wanted to talk about the best mons for Kyogre to run together with. So, Tornadus specifically though, Focus Sash is really good. You can do Focus Sash, you can do Cover Cloak, very, very nice. And for Terras, you could do like Steel or Ghost. Usually the two that people go for. Ghost because if you're not running Cobra Cloak and you're running Sash, then you need to be able to preserve that Sash as much as you can. So Ghost is very useful. Cobra Cloak with Steel type is usually the way you go, but Ghost type is also very, very nice. So usually people are opting with Ghost though because Fake Out is everywhere, and you just don't want to get hit by a Fake Out. It's not fun. But anyways, Fluttermane here as well, very, very good. Of course, if you guys don't know, Fluttermane is a very, very strong Pokemon. Even it has fallen off a little bit currently in this metagame, but it's still very, very good. And the reason why Fluttermane is good, it's not the perfect mon for Kyogre, but it's definitely an option, is because of photosynthesis. While it's in sunny day, it'll get its booster energy activated. So now it'll do, its highest stat, like if it's speed or a special attack will be increased. And the reason why is because if you're going up against Sun, you can kind of abuse their Sun by bringing in something like Raging Bolt. Raging Bolt is another one that's really good. But Fluttermane and Raging Bolt, you kind of can abuse their Sun by having something that does really well in the Sun. And Fluttermane is one of these that can have speed control in it, so you can do like Icy Wind or Dazzling Gleam against Koraidon and Groudon, and just kind of like, especially Koraidon, you can kind of force a Terra because now they kind of have to worry about this Fluttermane on the field and they don't want to get hit by a Moonblast, so you can kind of like force them into hitting that Fire Terra because usually Koraidons are Fire Terra. So you know, it's a decent idea if you want to bring Fluttermane. You don't have to, but it's definitely a good mon to bring. Archaladon is another one that's really good because it's basically built for rain thanks to its move Electro Shot. Electro Shot, what it does is that it's kind of like Meteor Beam, all those other charge moves where you gain one special attack boost, but it takes 2 turns to charge. So usually, if it's under rain though, it's not going to charge. You don't have to charge. You just flat out attack right off the bat. So you get the special attack boost and you get to attack right off the bat. So this thing was literally built for rain teams. That's why it's very, very good for Kyogre to run with. It's a Steel Dragon type as well, so it's got really good typing as well, defensively and offensively. So I would definitely consider putting Archaladon in your team. Usually these Archaladons run Fairy Terra and Assault Vest. So Assault Vest is usually what you will see. That's why you see 4 moves here. But you could opt in for like leftovers if you want Protect, stuff like that. Citrus Berries is also okay. And you want to run Stamina because Stamina gives it defense, which is why Body Press is in there. So if you don't know what Body Press does, it increases damage based on your defense. So the more defense you have, the harder Body Press hits. So that's why Body Press is in there. This is a pretty much standard set for Archaladon. Definitely give Archaladon a go if you want a Steel type in your team. Like I said, Electro Shot makes it start ramping up like crazy. So Archaladon, definitely a good one. Incineroar here as well. Incineroar is good in every team. I don't really have to talk about this thing, but something you can look into is Will-O-Wisp on Incineroar. A lot of people are running a Will-O-Wisp on Incineroar now just because of Calyrex Ice Rider mainly, and Zamazenta as well. Being able to burn them is very, very crucial because it lowers their attack. So Incineroar is always going to be good on every team. I don't really have to talk about Incineroar here. Usually people are opting for Ghost right now though, so they can kind of fake out and not worry about the other Incineroars or other fake out users. And you also usually run like Citrus Berry. You could run Assault Vest, but now you're not running Willows for Parting Shot. You're running U-Turn and like Flare Blitz or something like that. But other than that, Incineroar very, very well-rounded mon, works on so many teams. That's why I had to kind of like talk about Incineroar here. Rillaboom here as well. Same thing with similar to Incineroar. Rillaboom is really, really good. It brings out the Grassy Surge, which is grassy terrain, which gives you healing and also lowers the damage from certain ground moves, specifically Earthquake. I actually don't know how that completely works, but I know it stops ground moves. I think High Horsepower is the only one for some reason that Grassy Surge doesn't affect, but the rest it does. So Grassy Glide, really good move thanks to Grassy Surge. Grassy Glide becomes a priority move. So Grassy Glide being, even though it's a weak move, since it's getting boosted by Grassy Terrain, since Grassy Terrain also boosts grass moves, alongside the healing and all that other stuff that it does, it ends up doing a lot of damage. So Grassy Glide is usually like a staple on Rillaboom. It's also a fake out user, just like Incineroar. And it also has access to U-Turn. So usually people like to pair Incineroar and Rillaboom together to just keep cycling Intimidates and bringing in and out fake out turns. So very, very good, especially with Incineroar and Amoonguss. We'll be talking about Amoonguss later. And now Basculegion here. I put Basculegion here not mainly because Basculegion is good with Kyogre. I put it here to specifically talk about Swift Swim. Swift Swim, what it does is it boosts the speed. It doubles the speed under rain. So this is more talking about Swift Swim Pokemon. So Basculegion, Beartic could be fun to use. Floatzel, stuff like that have Swift Swim are very good mons to kind of consider. Ludicolo is good too. Like all these Swift Swim mons are something you could consider putting in your team, because they can abuse the range. So consider those as something that you could put in your team if you want to just have something that hits really hard and is really fast, because they're water types, so usually they'll be hitting really, really hard under the rain, right? So that's an option for you guys too. Now here's a few others as well. Like I said, I'm not gonna go too in depth with these. I just want to kind of give you guys options on what you guys can do. I didn't put it in here, but Raging Bolt is indeed another one that you can put in. Very, very good mon to have in a lot of teams. It's just really flexible. But yeah, we'll start from the beginning. Chi-Yu here is really good. Even though it's a fire type, it's still really strong. Because the fact that it gets access to Snarl is really good, so you can kind of stop other special attackers. But the entire reason you would use Chi-Yu is because of its ability, Beads of Ruin. It lowers their special defense a bit, so meaning Kyogre will hit much harder thanks to Chi-Yu just being on the field. This means that Chi-Yu won't be doing the damage, but even with overheat and stuff, it'll still be doing some damage, and you could always just use dark moves instead, like Dark Pulse and Snarl, like I said, while Kyogre does most of the damage up front. So Chi-Yu is just there to make Kyogre hit hard. It's pretty funny because it's a fish. It's actually pretty accurate why it works really well under the rain. It doesn't work under rain, but you got options. If you guys don't want to go with like fire moves, it does get screens. It does get Will-O-Wisp, gets taunt, stuff like that. So you don't have to use only attacking moves on Chi-Yu. You could totally make it a very supportive mon and just run stuff like Focus Sash on it. It could really work like that as well. Will-O-Wisp is, like I said, really good right now. So I would honestly consider it. Putting some supportive moves on Chi-Yu and just letting Kyogre do all the damage. Urshifu's here, dark or water. Most people like to opt in for the dark, but water is really good as well, just because it can abuse the rain, thanks to Surging Strikes being a water type move though. And with Terra Water, you're going to be hitting really hard with Urshifu, so with water Urshifu. So Urshifu is definitely something you could think of using. And you can sash it, you can choice scarf it. Usually those are the two items that people opt in for, but not much to talk about Urshifu here. Like I said, I don't want to get too deep into these, so we already got through the ones that were really good with Kyogre, so these are just like options. Serena has been actually seen a lot of play here on Kyogre teams, and for good reason. It's a grass type that also has a priority blocking ability in Queenly Majesty. People can't use fake out, they can't fake you out, they can't extreme speed, all that good stuff if Serena's on the field. And it being a grass type, usually fire type moves gives it trouble because it's under the rain. Fire moves will deal 50% less damage, meaning Serena's a little bit safer under the rain. It doesn't mean that it's invincible now, but it definitely won't take as much damage from fire moves, which is why people opt for Serena, because it's a grass type that doesn't need to worry about that kind of stuff. Because usually you would opt in for Farigiraf, but because of that you don't have to. So you get things like U-turn. It gets triple axle, which is one of the reasons you want to run it. Triple axle is really good. Ice offensively is really good right now in the meta, and it can hit really hard. It also gets things like Power Whip, gets knockoff, it gets high jump kick, it gets helping hand. It's got really good moves for you to utilize with it. It gets taunt, so it's a very good Pokemon thanks to its Queenly Majesty ability. So I would definitely give it a go. Amogus is another one. Obviously, we already know. If you guys have been keeping an eye on VGC, Amogus is everywhere. It is a very good grass type with the ability Regenerator. Sorry, I didn't even put that in. But Regenerator, what it does is it can switch in, switch out. This is why it's really paired with... It's really good paired with Rillaboom and Incineroar, because now you have another pivot option. You could bring in Amogus, switch it out, get health back if it got injured, bring in Incineroar to intimidate stuff, bring in Rillaboom to fake out stuff like that. You always can be doing stuff like that. So Bunga is very good. It has access to Spore, so you can start putting things to sleep. It's very slow, so because it's very slow, it usually can make people with Ice Rider, Calyrex Ice Rider, scared, because now they have to worry about Spore unless they're running like Terra Grass. All in all, it's really good supportive mon. It gets access to redirection, gets access to healing. So yeah, Mungus is a very strong option for Kyogre. Goldengo is another really strong option for Kyogre because of its steel typing. Like I said, fire moves, not very scary under the rain, so Goldengo can thrive under the rain as well. With its signature ability to make it rain, it's also another mon that has really high power spread moves. And usually you opt in for like Nasty Plot as well, and just try to Nasty Plot and then just make things rain, and you just go with leftovers. But you could also run like Choice Specs and just go really hard with Trick, make it rain, Shadow Ball, Thunder, stuff like that. You can run stuff like that. So Goldengo is definitely a very good option for you guys to try out in your Kyogre teams. Raging Bolt, as I said, is very, very flexible in a lot of teams. And as I said, if in case you run into sun teams and can't put up the weather, then you can abuse the sun by giving it its ability activated under the sun. So the reason why this thing is so good though is because it has Thunderclap and it also has really good base stats. It's a very, very Pokemon. You can never go wrong with this thing. It has a really good typing with Electric and Dragon. And yeah, all in all, this thing is really, really good. You can use it with Assault Vest. You can use it with like, I know people have run Magnet on it. You can run, you know, a lot of different things. You can run lefties if you want. Leftover works too, and run like a Calm Mindset instead. You can do Snarls. You got things like Snarl. You got Electro Web for speed control. It's a very, very hard mon to take off the map. So definitely give Raging Bolt an idea, a chance into your Kyogre teams, because not only is it just really flexible, it's also a good resist into other electric types for your Kyogre. It can resist grass types as well, thanks to its dragon typing. So honestly, it's a very, very good mon to consider into your Kyogre teams. So yeah, with that said, all there is to talk about left is the pros and cons of Kyogre. So some pros and cons. All right, some pros that it has is that it's got high spread damage, very, very high spread damage in Water Spout and Origin Pulse. It's got good coverage with Ice Beam or Thunder. Ice is very good offensively right now. Thunder Electric is as well. And Thunder hits really hard. Ice Beam is really good. Provides its own weather, which is always really nice. Be able to self, you know, put your own weather up. You don't have to rely on other mons for that. Very, very nice ability. Drizzle is really, really good. Some cons for it though is, as I said in the beginning when I was talking about Kyogre, is it's vulnerable to Wide Guard. Wide Guard is pretty much very common right now thanks to things like Calyrex Ice Riders, Calyrex Ice Rider and Ghost Rider. I can't even speak anymore. Groudon as well, Precipice Blades. You got Precipice Blades, you got Earthquake, you got all these like really high powered moves like Astro Barrage, Glacial Lens running around. Specifically, those mons are the reason why people run Wide Guard. So very vulnerable to Wide Guard. Relies on Tailwind because Kyogre being base 90 isn't the fastest thing. There's a lot of things that outspeed it. So it's very, very reliant on speed control. So you really need to bring like Tailwind or Icy Wind to kind of help it make sure that it can, you know, thrive in the battlefield. Origin Pulse as well is one of the cons that it can miss. 85% accuracy is 85% accuracy, and I'll be honest, you probably will miss this move a lot. Even though it's only 85% accuracy, it sounds like a very high chance to hit, but for some reason in Pokemon it means you're gonna miss a lot. So Origin Pulse can miss, and that is one of the cons. But other than that, it's a really good, well-rounded Pokemon, very flexible. Like it's such a good Pokemon to run. It's been so many generations and still be able to keep itself going in the meta game. So if you guys want to give Kyogre a chance, be more than you know, give it a go. Like I said, I'm gonna be putting teams for you guys in the description to try out. If the rentals don't work, you could always make the team in game yourself. But it should give you at least a general idea of what to do with Kyogre and what you could run and get a good feel of it. So hopefully this little guide kind of helped you guys out, kind of figure out if Kyogre is for you. And if not, then leave a comment on how I can improve my guides, what I can do more to kind of like give you guys a better idea of how to use a restricted. I am more than happy to receive your feedback, because I like I said, I am not someone who makes guides. I have never been someone that makes guides because I don't feel confident in my own abilities to be making these type of guides, and I don't like giving misinformation. So if you feel like there's something wrong in my guide, please let me know in the comment section below. I really would appreciate it. I want to make really good guides for you guys because I want to help people get into VGC, because VGC is really fun. I know in my videos I like to complain and stuff, but that's just my thing for my videos. I actually have a lot of fun playing VGC, and I would really like to see more people coming into Pokemon and enjoying it and getting into tournaments and stuff like that. because Pokemon is really fun. And once you get into it, it's so fun. Team building, because team building is where the fun is at. And yeah, once you find that one Pokemon that you really enjoy, just have fun with the game. And that's all I could really say. But anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for my guide. Please leave a like and subscribe. And as always, like I said, leave feedback on what you would like to see in my guides. And also, like I said, leave a comment, leave a like. If you guys enjoyed the content, subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.